You wake up when your body's ready. No alarm, no schedule, no place you need to be. You sit up, stretch, and ask yourself one question: what should I do today? For 99% of human history, that wasn't a hypothetical. That was every single morning. For 300,000 years. And the answer looked nothing like your life right now. Modern humans spend roughly 90,000 hours of their lives working. That's 1/3 of every waking hour you'll ever have, handed to a job. But for almost all of human history, jobs didn't exist. No wages, no boss, no Monday morning, no career ladder, no inbox. So what did people actually do all day? In 1963, anthropologist Richard Lee did something that quietly broke the story we tell ourselves about hard survival. He lived with the Jew/Hwanzi people of Botswana, one of the last groups still living close to how humans lived before farming. And he counted. He tracked exactly how many hours adults spent getting food. The answer? About 17 hours a week, 2.5 days. That's it. And the rest of the time? Completely theirs. Now you might think, okay, maybe that's just one group. But this pattern shows up everywhere anthropologists look. The Hadza in Tanzania, the Ashe in Paraguay, the Martu in Western Australia. Different continents, different climates, different foods, same result. 15 to 20 hours a week on survival. You probably work twice that before Wednesday. But here's where it gets undeniable. Forget the living. Look at the dead. When archaeologists compare ancient human skeletons to the skeletons of the first farmers, the contrast is stark and brutal. Early farmers were shorter. Their bones show nutritional deficiencies. Their teeth were rotting from grain-heavy diets. Their spines were riddled with arthritis from repetitive plowing and harvesting. They died younger. Ancient hunter-gatherers, taller, stronger bones, healthier teeth, less joint damage. Their bodies were not crushed by endless labor. The bones are writing the same story the living anthropologists found. Ancient humans weren't grinding. They were thriving, with time to spare. But the most powerful evidence isn't the bones. It's what people did with the time they had left over. In 1994, explorers stumbled into Chauvet Cave in southern France. On the walls were paintings 30,000 years old, horses mid-gallop, lions with shaded muzzles, rhinoceroses rendered with depth and movement, not crude scratches, sophisticated intentional art, created by firelight deep underground where no one else might ever see it. Someone chose to spend hours doing that, not for food, not for survival, for beauty. In Blombos Cave, South Africa, 100,000-year-old shell beads, tiny perforated holes drilled through seashells. The nearest coast was 20 kilometers away. Someone walked 40 kilometers round trip just to collect shells, then spent hours drilling them with stone tools, just to look good. In Germany in 2008, a 40,000-year-old flute, carved from a vulture bone, 5 finger holes, perfectly spaced. Whoever made it understood music, understood pitch, and gave hours of focused work to something that would never feed them. These aren't isolated finds. Across Africa, Europe, and Asia, decorated tools, carved bones, pigment, beads, ornaments. Everywhere humans had time, humans made things beautiful. Because that's what we do when we're not afraid. So let's actually live one of these days. You wake at dawn, the fire's still going, someone adds wood, you eat leftovers, smoked meat, berries, maybe roots. Breakfast is slow and social. People talk, nobody rushes. Mid-morning, a small group might head out to hunt or gather, but only if needed. If there was a successful hunt 2 days ago and food is stored, you might not leave at all. You might spend the morning sharpening tools, scraping hide, weaving a basket. Not because someone told you to. Because competence earns respect. Because making things well is part of what it means to be human. If a hunt happens, it's not the chaos you see in movies. Humans are persistence hunters. The only species that can sustain a jog for hours, in heat, because we sweat and regulate temperature while running. Most animals can't. So we didn't overpower prey. We outlasted them. 3 to 6 hours of steady tracking. Then the animal collapses from overheating and you bring it home. By early afternoon, the productive part of the day is done. And then, the part modern people find most alien, nothing and everything. People rest in the shade. Children are played with. Adults groom each other, picking through hair, reinforcing bonds. Because in a world without courts or contracts, your relationships are your survival. If people don't like you, they don't share when you're hungry. So you invest enormous time in connection. Not because it's productive, because it's what keeps you alive and human. Then the sun sets. and something shifts. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years recording conversations among the Jew/Wansi. During daylight hours, talk was practical. Where are the animals? Who owes who? Which plants are ready? But at night, around the fire, 81% of conversations became stories, myths, ancestors, spirits, jokes that made everyone collapse laughing, tales of impossible adventures from far away. Wiesner argued this is where human culture was actually born. Gods, creation, meaning, things you can only think about when your stomach is full and you're safe and warm. And they didn't sleep the way you do. Before artificial light, humans slept in 2 phases, 4 hours, then a quiet waking period of 1 to 2 hours in darkness, then 4 more hours. Medieval European texts confirm it. Modern sleep studies confirm it. That 2 a.m. restlessness you call insomnia, that might be your body remembering something ancient. Then, 10,000 years ago, the trap, farming, the Fertile Crescent. Someone planted seeds instead of following herds, and here's the cruel logic. Farming feeds more people. More people need more food. More food means more farming. Within generations, populations exploded past the point of return. Too many mouths now to go back to hunting. You were locked in. And farming is brutal. Plowing, planting, weeding, harvesting, storing, defending. The skeletal record is unambiguous. Early farmers worked harder, ate worse, and died younger. But the population kept growing. And with bigger populations came specialists, then soldiers, then priests, then administrators, then wages, then bosses, then the idea that your time belonged to someone else. Today, you spend 90,000 hours working. You sleep in 1 block and call waking at 2 a.m. insomnia. They slept in 2 phases and used the quiet middle hours for reflection. You make art if you can find time after your job. They made art because they had time. You spend your life chasing success by metrics society invented 50 years ago. They woke up every morning already free, already enough, nothing to prove, and nowhere to be. They weren't waiting to retire into the good life. They were already living it. We didn't evolve for this. We evolved for fire, for stories, for slow mornings and long afternoons with people we love. We traded all of it for food security, population growth, and the privilege of checking emails on a Sunday.